Hey everyone, I hope all of you guys are doing good and staying safe. In the previous video, we took a look at managed prefix list. In this video, we are going to take a look at VPC Flow Logs and why it is important. So let's say, for example, that you are given a scenario where you would like to monitor all of your network traffic that goes through your VPC. Let's say that that should be your first point of troubleshooting. Let's say that you would like to find out what traffic is accepted and what traffic is rejected. You can go ahead and configure something called as VPC Flow Logs. So let's take a look at how do you configure VPC Flow Logs and at what levels can you configure it. First of all, I'll tell you at what levels you can configure VPC Flow Logs. You can configure it on a VPC level, which is the global scope for the VPC. So which means all the traffic that goes through the subnets of that particular VPC, all the traffic that goes through the elastic network interface of all of the subnets of that VPC. You can go ahead and monitor all that traffic. The second place where you can configure VPC Flow Logs is just only on a subnet level. When you configure it only on a subnet level, only that subnet's traffic is being monitored. And the third layer where you can configure VPC Flow Logs is only on a network interface level, which means that traffic that goes through only that network interface can be monitored. So you have VPC Flow Logs that you can configure at 3 different intervals, one on the VPC, one on the subnet level, one on the network interface level, depending on the scope that you would like to have. So let's go through the process of creating a VPC Flow Log. For VPC Flow Log, you have 2 different destinations where you can send all of your traffic to. One is a Cloudwatch Log Group, and the second one is an S3 bucket. In this video, we will take a look at how do you configure VPC Flow Logs for a Cloudwatch Log Group. And in the subsequent videos, we will take a look at how do you configure it for an S3 bucket. So probably once you have studied S3, you can take a look at how do you configure it. For right now, we will go with Cloudwatch Log Group. So before doing any configurations on the VPC side of things, let's go to Cloudwatch in the Singapore region and create a log group for storing all of our VPC flow logs for our custom VPC that we created. So we are still working with that custom VPC, guys. So I have Cloudwatch already bookmarked or favorite on the top. I'm just going to right click and open it in a new tab. So let's go to the Cloudwatch console on the Singapore region. This is where I introduce a brand new service for you. So under the logs over here, under log groups on the left side navigation bar, let's create a brand new log group. We don't have any log groups. Let's create a brand new log group and call it as My VPC Flow Logs. And the retention setting is something that you can state. But for right now, we can state that it shouldn't expire at all. But it's totally up to you to say that the retention setting is 1 day, which means every day your VPC flow logs, the previous day will be deleted and the new day's logs will be visible for you. So just for cost purposes, I'm just going to save it as 1 day as a retention setting for right now. If you want to encrypt all of your flow logs, all the logs that are being stored at data at rest, you can use something called as key management service. So probably later when you take a look at the key management service, you can come back and enable encryption for all of your logs. And as usual, we have tags. Like I said, tags are very important to track costs across your AWS platform of all the services that you use. Let's create this log group. And within this log group, you have something called as log streams. So when you click on your log group, you have something called as log streams. And in each and every stream, these streams are being created by the VPC service itself. And each and every stream will consist of log events. So log groups within which you have log streams, within which you have log events. So this is all you need to do on the Cloudwatch side is just to create a log group. Let's go back to the VPC management console in terms of creating the VPC flow log. So on the VPC console, let's click on VPCs. Let's click on My VPC. And you have from the dropdown, you have something called as flow logs over here. Let's create a flow log. So you can see over here, we are creating the flow log for My VPC. I'm going to call it as My VPC Flow Log again over here in terms of the name. I'm not only going to configure accept traffic and reject traffic. I'm going to say track all traffic, which is all. I would like to probably go with a 1-minute granularity rather than 10-minute aggregation. I would like to, yes, send it to Cloudwatch logs, but classic interview question I want you to remember is you can also send it to an S3 bucket. So for right now, we are going to do it to Cloudwatch logs. And you can see that the destination log group, I'm going to choose is the log group that I've created. And you can see that over here, there is one more configuration called as IAM role. So my close friend Balaji is creating the IAM role related lectures and all that. If you have gone past it and you have gone to the VPC section, for right now, you should have already understood what IAM roles are, but I'm going to still give it to you in a single line. I'll ask you a few questions. Who's creating the flow logs, the VPC service? Where is it being stored? In a Cloudwatch Log Group. Who is storing it? The VPC Flow Log service is storing it. But then on whose behalf? On my behalf. So I have to provide the VPC Flow Log service enough access or permissions to store all of the logs in the Cloudwatch Log Group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Setup Permissions, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new IAM role which has enough permissions to go ahead and create the log streams and also put log events. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new IAM role. I'm going to call it as Flow Logs role and Singapore, just to make it a region specific role, but roles are global in nature, okay? Because IAM is global in nature. You can see that over here on the top. So you can see the policy document. It says it allows the VPC Flow Log service to create additional log streams, to go ahead and also put any log events. So let's go ahead and click on allow so that this role is created in the background. So once this role is created in the background, go back to your previous console and refresh this button so that you can see that role. So I'm going to, from the drop down, go ahead and search for Flow Logs role. You can see Flow Logs role Singapore has been created. Choose that. So right now, if I have to repeat it for you guys, the VPC Flow Log service through this IAM role has an IAM policy with which it has enough authorization to go ahead and talk to the Cloudwatch service, where it can go ahead and create additional log streams and put log events into this particular log group. So let's scroll down and see the format. We have version, account ID, ENI, interface ID, source address, source port, destination port, TCP or UDP in terms of protocol, how many packets, what's the start bytes, what's the end bytes, the action is accept or reject, and the log status is okay. So you get this default format. If you want to customize, you can always click on custom format and go with any custom format that you would like to have, but based on the fields that are coming in. By default, it's going to save it in this particular format, and I'm happy with this right now. Probably when we study Cloudwatch in the future, you'll be able to see how to create your own custom format. So for right now, this is great. Let's scroll down and let's go ahead and click on Create Flow Log. So right now our Flow Log has been enabled. So if you go to Flow Logs for your VPC, you can see that you are sending all of the traffic to the Cloudwatch Log Group called as this, and you are giving it enough permissions, the Flow Log service. You are giving it enough permission through an IAM role with an aggregation interval of 1 minute. So this is how you create a flow log. And then when you start interacting with all of the resources within your custom VPC and you start generating traffic, you should be able to monitor all of that traffic in your Cloudwatch Log Group into a log stream as log events. So I hope this was a little bit longer lecture. I hope you got the gist of how you configure flow logs for Cloudwatch Log Group. Let's also do the same for an S3 bucket destination in the next video. So I hope you're having a great time. I'll see you guys in the next video.